Hey everybody, Dishadar here, and this video is Deity reflecting ethnicity. I decided to make this video because there are some people within the Wiccan faith who might want Deity to look more like them. Because if you look at various artworks, paintings, drawings, sculptures of Deity, they tend to be white, to be honest. And though that's not a problem for many people, certainly isn't for me, since I don't really, I don't really care. There might be some. I just decided to make this video because there might be some people who want DD to look more like them, but don't know if it's valid or if they are allowed to do it. So, this video is just to give some inspiration, give my personal thoughts and opinions on it. So, like I said, various art forms depict deity mainly as being white, which isn't a problem. But if you wanted to make deity or to see deity in a different form while still being of the faith, then I think that it's a perfectly valid thing to do. Because if you want to relate to deity better than if you need to have deity to have your skin color and whatnot, then I don't see why not. If you want deity to be from where you're from, like if you're from America, you want your deity to look American, which I don't know how, personally I don't know how an average American looks, since, I look around, I just see everyone. But, have, be from America. And sure, if you want an Asian deity that was from Asia or had Asian features, then by all means. South America, Italian, African, do what helps your practice grow. So you can do it in a variety of forms, color associations, or you could just do it based off of how you look. Like for me, example, I'm an African American, obviously, and so say I wanted a deity that I wanted to reflect a certain aspect, as well as be dark skinned like me. So I would, like, me just thinking about it now, like say, okay, I wanted a fertility deity that was brown skinned. Then of course I'd have an African, or I have a dark skinned deity that, if I wanted to represent fertility, then represent fertility. I could use the color association of black. I could use that for fertility, for grounding, basically elements of the earth. Because if you think about it, if you look at the ground, of course, this is mainly clay. I don't know if you can see it that well. It's, brown, a little like my skin color. Actually, about my skin color. Or if you wanted to be black, solid black, then if you think about that as well, think about the soil that you buy from the store. It's very fertile soil that you can grow plants off of. And it's black, so representing fertility, you can have a very dark skinned deity representing the earth, or you can have a deity whose skin tone is more tan, just to represent the general earth. So it doesn't really matter how you see it. It just depends on what you want, and if you want to use color associations, use it by all means. And even though I personally don't use ethnic deity, I could see myself probably practicing with it. I'm probably gonna just test it to see, via meditation or ritual, just to see how it goes for me personally, because I think that'd probably be a good addition to use. So, if I had to, if I were to use it, then here are some of the associations that I would attribute to certain aspects. Like for the moon, for example, the moon is full. The moon is white, of course, white and black. The impacts are, black, whatnot. And, it's at nighttime, very elegant, starlit. So the association that I got was more of like a light, very fair-skinned Asian figure, because I recall when I was leaving the library this one time, it was Asian Heritage Month. Oh wow, my eyes feel so much better with the sun hitting. It was Asian Heritage Month, and I saw some figurines of some Asian figurines, and I thought, like, as soon as I saw, the rounded face, the very elegant clothing and stuff, I just thought, it was an Asian figure, so I thought, looks. I just suddenly thought the moon. If I had to give it, um, uh, if I had to attribute it to something, and it's not racist, since racism is a negative outlook on a race based off of, how they look, their skin color, and it's so I don't want anyone thinking that if you have a DT that represents a certain color, or you attribute the skin color to a certain aspect that you want to use for your worship, that's somehow racist, because it's not. I'm seeing things in a positive light. It's not like I'm saying, oh, you're smart like an Asian, or you're, I don't know, some other negative stereotypes. That's racist to say if you honestly say that and really believe that. So but just having a DD who looks like a certain race that exists, that's not racist. Just to clarify. So for me personally, if I wanted a fertility deity, I would personally use a dark or tan-skinned individual, since that's representative. Since the Earth is black, fertile Earth is tends to be darker, and like I showed you a few seconds ago, it'd be tan skin would represent the Earth just as well. I'm in Georgia, so there's a lot of clay here, a ton of clay here, so it would be a lot easier for me, since I live in Georgia and see it everywhere I go, to have a tan skinned deity represent the Earth. If I wanted for the moon, like I said, more like an Asian, a deity who looked more Asian, with a fair one who has a fair skin, rounded face, not like very petite, long, elegant clothing, which one could use the elegant clothing to represent, when you have the moon at night on a starlit night, have the clothing be representative of the universe, or just representative of the sky, the dark sky with its, like the stars be the jewels of the moon, have the dark richness with all the various colors. If you want to extend that from beyond the night and to what's in space, being the various galaxies and different planets and stuff like that. So I mean, you could go all out and have a very detailed aspects of deity if you are really creative. So I think you have to have, like I said, good grounding and color correspondences, and basically you have to know what you want. You shouldn't limit yourself based off of what you think other people will believe or think about you or whatnot, because if that's what helps you in your practice, and so long as it's not hurtful, harmful, or derogatory to any person, then by all means I think you should do it. Or like say for the sun, or you know what, let's think about Maven, for example. That's the beginning of the autumn equinox. That's fall. The colors of the leaves change to be oranges, reds, yellows, all types of colors, a whole palette of colors. And then let's say you wanted a deity who was more had red skin. You know, then you could do that to represent the equinox. You could use it to represent the fertile, because once the leaves drop off, they fertilize the earth so that when the plants come back, the earth around them that the roots grow in will have more nutrients, and they'll be able to sustain themselves by this endless cycle of the leaves falling down, dying, providing the nutrients, soak it up back into the plant, and it's just continuing the process over and over again. You can have a more red-skinned deity to represent the changing leaves, since they're mostly reds, yellows, and colors like that. Represent the dying light, because overall the sun, well, at least from where I am, since it tends to change based off of the city and the atmospheric conditions and pollution, tends to be more reddish and yellowish, like I said. So it can represent, it can also represent fertility, just in a different aspect. And you can go, like I said, you can go all out. Have all these different beautiful colors, have greens. It doesn't really matter so long as you're doing what helps you better relate to deity and helps your practice more. So once you get into the whole phase of having deity looking different ways depending on color associations and what you want to better relate to certain aspects that's found within nature, you can go about just start having your own belief system based off of that. It doesn't have to entirely be Wiccan, but if if you want to call yourself Wiccan, of course, there are certain standards, but they're loose at best. Any typically poly or dual-theistic faith that's nature-based and believes in the communion between man and nature, and believes in not harming, and the as you live your life to not harm harm the beings of nature, which would include humans, which are animals anyway, and all types of animals like the birds, fish, tortoises, all types of animals. So by that standard, then you can still call yourself Wiccan and just have a different belief structure, but it's still based on the fundamental principles of Wicca. And there are some people who like to say that because of one person making a different faith or adding on different associations to Wicca, that it's not Wiccan or that you can't do that. But to them, I say that it makes no sense to say that you can't make up your own faith based off of what's around you and your current belief, because all faiths, all religions started out with one person or one group who looked at the world a certain way, who interpreted the world and the way it's structured, the various changes that it goes through, and built a belief off of that. So that's all religion is. It's a person or persons outlook on the universe and them taking certain aspects within it, grouping it together, isolating it, and slapping a new name on it. That's all it is. So if you wanted to have all these different skin tone deities to better relate to certain aspects, if you wanted to project different aspects based off of what you wanted, as far as, if you wanted a deity to have a certain color that reflected you, or just different color associations in general, then it's perfectly valid to do it. So you don't let other people try and limit you based off of what they believe or what they think, because by you allowing them to do that, you're limiting yourself and you're limiting your spiritual and your physical potential. So I just wanted to make a video based off of that, because I thought it'd be very helpful for those who might want to do it but are hesitant, and for those who just want it, and just for people who are just cruising around looking, and just to give them some inspiration. So just just making these videos just to try and help everyone else out, since that's the very basis of what it means to, well, one of the very principles of living the faith is to help others in the system and their practice. So this is Dishadar here. This video took 12 minutes and 30, well, about to be 45 seconds. So I'd like to thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a very blessed day, and I'll see you later.